Irreversible is the third full-length album from Deitus. This is a London, England-based trio who have they basically started as a duo as teenagers. It's a black metal band, and usually one that has a sense of thrashing or classic black metal as part of their main repertoire. They're an aggressive but also modern and typically forward-thinking black metal band, and certainly one that has experimented and changed within or explored within each of their three full lengths. Irreversible is no different in the sense that it now brings a much more melodic, maybe tangentially doom metal influenced uh, side to their sound. But each of their records follows what I would consider a kind of a template, and well, what that means is that they start out with side A, which is curated towards their strength, which is thrashing or faster paced black metal that is often successfully melodic, d- typically very aggressive and very straightforward in a very classic feeling style without a lot of accoutrement. It's a driving, charged and representative force behind the beginning of each of their three full-length albums, and then side B tends to change that up. So we'll get into a clip here just to get a sense of what they sound like to start. So the important precedents that you need going into this album is preferably Acta Non Verba, their first full length, but especially Via Dolorosa, their second album. That record touched upon something that was a little bit more intentionally dissonant. It was probably influenced by orthodox black metal at a sort of a peak interest and creativity for that style, and it was also successfully melodic in a lot of ways. There were some dissection-esque tendencies that had worked their way into their sound, and there was some strong experimentation on the second half of the album. So going to this record, that was expected to be expanded upon, and they haven't really brought those expectations with them. In fact, this is a very different record than what they've done before in some sense, as we step into some of the more experimental tracks on here, some of the more thrashing and aggressive tracks on here. One of the pieces being written by a member of Inconcessus Lux Lucis is certainly indicative that it will be an aggressive and thrashing song, and it's quite a good piece, and it helps to build the dynamic of the record as a whole, as a full listen, where every song has a different statement, a different piece in the greater whole of it, and deals with determinism and Irreversible kind of speaks to as for itself as a title in many ways, and that doesn't really prepare us for Voyeur. And I think that's probably the most important song to talk about on here, because one, it's quite accessible per the dramatic vocals from Tony Coe-Brooker, but also this sense that there's a Bathory-esque thing happening on the record as well. It's sort of like they went a little bit doom, but they turned out that it's just more of an epic thrashing black metal record, and something that's pretty different than what we're getting from a lot of, let's say, British black metal of late. So this record stood out for me. I know that it seems a bit plain to start. I think without paying attention to the details, it sort of blows by quite quickly, but once I sat down with it and really paid attention to what Deitus were doing here, and I really appreciate the economy of thought, the economy of notes. It's all very cinched up and very tightly presented, and it made for a great listen and a great repeat listen, and one of my favorite records from July. So check that out. It's been out for a while now, and well worth your time.